Welcome to the 2015 National Collegiate Paintball Association Championships. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez. We are about to watch the first game of the tournament. University of Akron Zips will be taking on Saginaw Valley State University. So, Todd, getting our first look at this field layout, man, what a long snake. Can't wait to see how that plays. Could potentially be easy to get in there. You never really know until we start shooting the paintballs at each other, though. We've seen Akron out here before. I see Addison Winstead's coming back. Big Winstead should be out there. Great off-the-break shooter. We'll see if he's improved since last year. And they're playing Saginaw Valley State. What do you think about this field layout?
Well, I really like how long the snake is, like you said. There's a lot of open gaps out there on the field, so there should be a lot of good shots on the break for the back players. The Dorito side looks pretty aggressive over there. Lots of big bunkers across that 50 on the Dorito side. And, temples out in the corners always make for good spots for protecting your teammates up front. So, these stand-up cans is the first two insert bunkers. They look like they might be easy to make, but looks like there's some pretty big lanes that you're going to have to run through to get to those spots.
See Akron on the bottom of your screen and Saginaw Valley on the top. And, yeah, there's that big open area by the start gate, by those flag stations. And things get a little bit interesting when you have a lot of that ground to work with, Todd, because you can keep guys back there to shoot off the break, but you got to be careful because you can't get people stuck in those areas. And also sometimes when you have situations like this, there is that back bunker right there. Teams and players start doubling and tripling up that spot. Ooh, it looks like Akron getting a bad start there, Todd.
Yeah, Akron didn't seem like they all went on the same horn, but they do shoot one body on the break for SVSU out of that back center. But SVSU attacking that A right away, coming up the middle. He gets one, he gets another one coming through the middle, shooting on that Dorito side. SVSU getting into the snake right away, playing off that chaos up the middle.
Yeah, aggressive moves right off the start of this game from Saginaw Valley. And looking pretty good in this snake up in that center 50. And there we're looking at that's the D side from Saginaw. SVSU looking pretty solid here to start this match, trying to get into that red zone. You can see he's creeping around, looking for players in front of him, and then makes that move. And then the Zips.
Akron still has a body over here on the snake side in that can.
Yeah, Zips only two bodies.
Oh, I think he might have just gotten shot.
Yeah, so now the moves, SVSU right now making moves in the red zone at the 50-yard line, trying to get a shot in that back center. And then now pushing up, trying to clear the field. So looking like the first point here is going to go to SVSU.
Oh, Winstead trying to deal out of that can, but he was all alone over there as SVSU really put the pressure on early, busting up the middle of the field, coming and getting a couple quick early kills, helping themselves get good position early, getting up in that Dorito, coming into the snake right away. So good aggressive play here to start the day by Saginaw Valley State University.
Looks like that's number 24, Lauren Adams, will be hanging that flag. Got to touch it up and get checked out by the referee. So pretty quick point.
Yeah, little 22nd point to start the day. Here comes that closing move down the snake side. Winstead with nowhere to hide. Here's a little move up to the Dorito side.
And that's Jackson,
off the get from
Jackson St. Clair.
Yeah, trying to make that move up to that Dorito. Got chopped up by the middle guy.
Well, that's
SVSU.
That's an interesting look on SVSU coming out pretty aggressive right away, getting into a snake that's, again, really long. So once you get in there, if you have support, if you're by yourself, it could be tough. Anytime you're in the snake and you're by yourself, it's tough to move up because you have to work efficiently. You don't have a lot of help. But in college paintball, the coach is right there on the sidelines. There's no nets between you and the coach. He's literally right there screaming in your ear.
Yeah, but hey, that's what you like to see first thing in the morning here to start the tournament off. The SVSU saying, hey, we're coming down your throat. We're coming early. We're coming often. So, good aggressive play. I think that's always the best time to catch a team sleeping. First thing in the morning, everybody thinks they're going to come out and just run their standard basic play, see how it works. A lot of teams get caught up in that. Like, we've been practicing. We're just going to come out here and run our first standard play. See how that goes. If it works, maybe we'll run it again. If it works again, maybe we'll just keep going with it. No, SVSU said we're charging down the middle right away. We're coming to get you.
Well, when you have two 10-minute halves to work with, and it's not a race two-point situation, you have some time. You can throw away a point, depending on how confident you feel about your team and your game plans. But you have some time to work with. Obviously, every point is crucial, but Yeah, I agree with you, man. Why not roll the dice early and see if it works?
Well, we always talk about dictating the pace of the game. You know, you throw that play in there first point in the morning, then, you know, it's going to be hard to tell what they're going to do next. You know, you might run that play again. Hey, that play worked. Let's just run that again instead of, you know, maybe we'll go 3 guys left, 2 guys right.
So here at the start, let's see if Saginaw comes out aggressive again. A little bit not aggressive this time. See, they're all in that blue section of the field. Looks like they keep 5 bodies alive, though, and now Saginaw making their move on the D side. So quick bumps after that initial good, solid 5-player alive break for SVSU.
SVSU way back off that back center, kind of using the spacing of the bunkers out there to play the blind spot and have better shots across the field on the snake side. But there's their front snake player. And there's that back center guy back up off the center shooting. I think he might have got one over there off the snake side. There's one player coming off for Akron. Another player trying to crawl up, get in the snake. Bill Fry looking to make his move across into the snake for Saginaw, and there goes Akron getting into the snake.
Well, that's a good move right there, trying to get in the snake to mirror the move, because you could see SVSU already in the snake. So Akron, and we saw a body drop early, and there's Akron. A little bit tighter in their spots. It looks like SVSU, Todd, is playing a little bit more comfortable in their spots.
Yeah, I mean, not trying to force it. Definitely keeping heavy guns running right away. Haven't lost a body yet. Up far on the Dorito side. Getting good support on both sides of the field.
There's Bill Fry in for SVSU. He's in snake 1 right now, and you can see he's looking towards that center, towards the D side of the field. And there are the rest of his boys on that D side in the center.
Akron still has that player up in the center of the field in the tall tower. Big move coming from SVSU, hooking around to the Dorito side.
And then Akron shoots that player out and then counters it with the Dorito side move of their own, getting into D2. As one of the SVSU players has to walk off from that side. And here comes a big move, snake side. And that was
SVSU.
Wisniewski.
Wisniewski got torched in the back, trying to run the highway.
And then Lauren Adams doing damage control, coming out here to support his front player. Ends up shooting out the player for Akron in the center 50.
There's Todd there in the center. Gonna come up to the pin behind the A and catch one right in the side of the goggles. So he's gonna come off. Adams still here in the Dorito corner for Saginaw Valley. Trying to figure out where all the bodies are in that confusion.
Yeah, you can see his head checking towards the D side, looking over towards the snake side. He's trying to figure out what's left. And there's Flanders, Michael Flanders for Akron.
This might be a one-on-one situation as Flanders coming up into that center tower.
And Flanders going to make his move into the red zone up to the center 50 and just trying to get that shot on Adams. So by now these guys should know the count, but it's tough, man. You have to make sure you don't get tunnel vision, and then Flanders grabs the flag. Nice work by Flanders. Flanders making it look pretty good here. Let's see if Adams can get a shot on him. Doesn't look like Adams has any paint left, Todd.
No, looks like his pack is dry. You can see those clips empty in the back. But he's got his loader on him. He's going to be patient. There's a lot of distance for Flanders to have to go to get to the flag station. Flanders does have the flag, but not going to be an easy run directly into the flag station for him.
Yeah.
SVSU with the lead right now, though.
Well, and again, you don't have to shoot the last guy in order to hang the flag. You can see a little bit wider angle here. Flanders making his move, trying to close the distance here, close the gap on Adams, and he's right by the flag station. And Adams knows that. Adams knows that, hey, look, Flanders doesn't have to shoot me. He just has to hang that flag. So he has to keep an eye on that angle. Flanders wants to make that move, but Flanders might have got picked off.
Adams one-balling. Here comes Adams making the move.
And Flanders going to dive in. Oh, and I think Adams might have got him right before he dove in.
See what the call's going to be here.
Look for the thumbs up sign from the referee if the hang is clean. Oh, you see Adams throw his head to the sky a little bit. Maybe he missed him. What a long point. We had an incredibly quick first point. Yeah, so let's look at this replay here as that point developed. You could see bodies dropping from Akron, bodies dropping from SVSU. And that was that big move down on the highway on the snake side until he got torched out. But it was that was a pretty solid, entertaining point, Todd. Lots of moves back and forth until it came down to this one-on-one, and then Flanders tries to dive in, and you can see there Adams was just gunned up on him. So, and it doesn't look like, I don't see a point on the board yet.
Concede it! Concede. Play 3. Point good for Saginaw.
Right. It shouldn't be like that. Hey, do we have paper towels? I still got a big smear through there. Thank you.
That's fine. That's why I was asking Ty. It's like, you got to make the call. You had the angle. If you hit first, you'll know you got hit before it cut. I was like, all right. Flag it off. Let him hang it.
Hey, who's our fifth? Todd! Todd! You ready? You need Todd. Todd, you're off. Todd, you're off.
I would love to cut that sucker. Oh, I know. But it's not the pad that matters, it's the fact that it's off and it's big. I really just like that.
Hold up, I really would like to get
What's our time?
First point, I got an entire stream off of that.
That's a great idea.
Levelonius is right there. Oh, that sounds good.
So it looks like that point was scored by SVSU, and yeah, you could see Adams from Akron. He kind of, I guess he must have heard the call from the referee because he put his head to the sky and in frustration. So what a great job there in that one-on-one situation in order to hang it up. No.
SVSU. Looks like they gave SVSU the point on that.
That's what. Yeah, SVSU. Oh.
Yeah, as Flanders dove in, he must have got shot and he must have given him a dirty hang.
Oh, that's
as
what
he dove
happened
in
for sure. Okay.
Yeah,
you know,
I think as he dove in.
Why was Adam so disappointed then?
I don't know. He probably thought that they weren't going to give it to him.
Maybe he was arguing over it or something. I don't know. It looked close to me. It's tough. Hey, that's why we have referees. We got the referees down there. So yeah, they did give SVSU the point. So I guess Adams must have got a shot on him, then dirty hang. But regardless, I don't know. If I was a coach, I would have been out there arguing that one for sure.
Or maybe he just shot him before, and then he was able to grab the flag and.
Well, with 3 minutes,
drop it in,
hey, it's 2-0 regardless. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left here in this first half. Akron bottom, SVSU on the top. And then looked like a 5 alive break for SVSU.
SVSU losing their snake player on the break, trying to come out to that mini race again. Made it a couple times, gets shot. Here's Smith already up in the snake, and looks like SVSU going to lose another body out of the back center. Getting aggressive over on the Dorito side, coming out to the Dorito 2.
Player for SVSU checking himself right there, and now looking over the corner, the D side. There's Smith and the snake for the zips. Into the 50-yard line. This is a good spot. Players on the D side from SVSU need to be careful. Smith's going to start shooting players out. Yeah, and you're starting to see bodies drop for
Looks
SVSU.
like Danielle Nash getting shot for SVSU. She comes walking off.
So 2 minutes and 23 seconds left here in this first half. Akron still with the goose egg up there. Need to put a point on the board. And it looks like they're going to do it.
And here comes Todd. Plenty of bodies left alive there still for Akron.
Is Politi going to hang the flag up? So we got ourselves a 1-point game with just about 2 minutes to play here in the first half. And Akron needed that. After that really close one where they almost got it, but it ended up going to SVSU. So now we got ourselves a game here. See there on the replay, there's Todd on the D side. He's able to make it in that 50-yard line. Because, you know, again, paintball game angles, man, when you get somebody really far up on the snake, it switches those guns, and that enabled Todd to get up there on the D side. That was the break right there as SVSU lost their body snake side.
Akron, the score is 2-1 SVSU. 1 minute and 59 seconds on the game clock. You have a minute 15 to the point.
How many do they do? go. They're allowed to coach.
Ready?
Ty was after.
Shot that home on the inside. Hey, Justin, you want to go watch?
1 minute! 1 minute!
So we're back, more first half action here, 2015 National Collegiate Paintball Association Championships. First game of the tournament, seeing how this field's playing, Todd, and I think there's a lot of options on both sides. And you know, we're seeing players getting the snake, we're seeing players make it up on that D side of the field. Lots of, looking like it's gonna be a gunfight heavy field though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime you have a lot of stand-ups, you know, kind of in that pocket area, you know, we always call the pocket the back center, and the first insert bunkers out from the back center. As long as there's always big stand-ups over there, you're gonna see a lot of heavy shooting on the break. And, you know, a lot of guys, you can either stand in that back center when you have the back center up, the back center bunker up off the flag station. You can either stand there or you can go up into it. You know, sometimes, you know, being bold and staying back in the open gives you better angles, but being able to be on your feet and use the protection of those stand-ups is definitely key for shooting people on the break.
So, 1 point game. Oh, body's dropping right now.
SVSU losing a body right away.
And then Akron loses a body as well, I think. And
Smith already up in the snake for Akron. There's Winstead up in that center tower for Akron. Smith already in the 50. Looking across the field, looking to get some kills here before halftime.
yeah, he's in a good spot, and he has some time to work with. Minute 21 seconds to go here. Winstead rolling his gun to help out his boy in the snake.
SVSU with the player in the small Dorito. One there in the back center. Smith working that 50 snake, trying to put pressure across the field on that Dorito side. SVSU holding fast in the back center.
Yeah, and SVSU is right now with this lead. They're probably, with under a minute, Todd, don't have field position. They're just in their spots. I don't know. I was going to say maybe they're just going to try to hold tight, but no, as Akron drops a body on that side, here comes SVSU. Now maybe they're going to try to close this point out here. Smith still alive for Akron on your screen right now.
SVSU looking to make a push. They got one in the snake can, one here in the Dorito too. 26 seconds left. Looking to go up on the feet. Here comes the move.
There's Bill Fry.
And here comes Bill Fry.
Yeah, I think he shot him out of there.
Shows him out, comes to the 50. One body left.
Are they going to have
6
enough time to
seconds.
hang it, though? He's going to have to run that flag in, and I think he's going to have enough time. Did he have enough time? Oh, I don't know if he got it.
He was standing at the flag station.
Well, the referee, are they going to give it to him? Oh, let's see if they give it to him. I don't know. It looked like from our clock that he didn't make it in time. You can't just walk up to the flag station. You have to actually tag that flag up. So, you know, but he was engaged in a bunch of gunfights, so he might have thought maybe he had some paint. He doesn't want to have a dirty hang.
I shouldn't have told you to go. I didn't know what time was left.
So let's see, here's Fry. And right about here, the clock hits 0. Is he gonna get it? That sure was close.
Welcome back here. We are watching the Saginaw Valley State University take on University Akron Zips. Maddie Marshall alongside Todd Martinez. The score is 3-1 in favor of Saginaw. So we got ourselves a cloudy morning here in Lakeland, Florida. Central Florida Paintball for another NCPA championships. Todd, how you feeling?
Well, number one, just looking at this field layout, this looks great. Number two, I'm happy it's not super hot and rainy out here. When it's a little overcast like this, is perfect paintball weather. So we got a lot of good things going for us so far this morning.
Yeah, so far, and with the rain threatening, it's been raining all week, but not really affecting the field conditions very much so far. And on this layout, we're not really going to know yet how this layout is exactly going to play. As these teams begin to play this field, we're going to see what's working and what's not. And right now, with the score 3-1, things are definitely working in Saginaw Valley State's favor right now. We'll see. But Akron, they've been playing this game for a while, long-time franchise here in the NCPA. So hoping that they pick things up here.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of a bunch of close points so far in this matchup early this morning. So. I kind of like how this field, just looking at it from over here, how it's kind of spaced out in the back center. The back center bunker is far up off the flag station. You got two cans going out to either side. I feel like this field's going to get really aggressive. We got a snake that has 4 lengths in it, going all the way almost from the back line to the other team's back line.
Todd, this might be the longest snake I think we've ever seen here at this tournament. And what that means is it should be very easy, especially the way that those blue bunkers are staggered getting into the snake that you see on your screen right now. Look how long this snake is. And as we kind of pan down the field, you go from that important red zone to the yellow zone and then into those back blue bunkers. But you can see that it's a staggered lane. There's bunkers that you can get right into there on your screen. You see the stand-up can and the insert bunker there on the snake side. Man, so easy to get in the snake. And what does that mean? It's battle time.
Yeah, well, we're going to see out here, you got a little cube, or I'm sorry, like a little mini cake over there in the corner on the snake side. You got a mini temple over there on the Dorito side in the corner. Here comes Akron. There's the pit of Akron right now coming out on the field. But it looks like it might be hard to get wide out here. Might be better off just attacking right to the snake and try and get in there and get down the field. You know, like we saw actually over the past 2 years, the field layouts here at the NCPA championships have been really wide open, like heavy gunfighter fields. Like last year it was the Dallas PSP layout, and that was just a bloodbath.
Yeah, I was going to say with the emphasis of the aggression in that snake side.
Yeah, I like it. The Dorito side, we got some big bunkers over there at the 40, in the yellow zone, and then you got a nice spread across the 50 over there in that red zone with a lot of pins. The tall tower up in the middle. We just know how those tall towers up in the middle always help the aggressive play for teams trying to attack quick when games get close.
So on the split screen, breakout Saginaw on the bottom of your screen. Then we're going to look at Akron. Akron losing 2 bodies, though, right away. Able to get a player into the snake, right into snake 1. So in good field position right away for Akron. Even though they lose those bodies, it's going to be up to the snake player right here to see if he can get something done. And it's Smith all the way to the red zone, to the 50-yard line. And the snake starts cutting up bodies in that center, Todd.
Yeah, Smith gets that kill across the field, moving up to the Dorito side. And looks like Saginaw is going to lose another body out of the middle. So just 2 bodies left alive for them. They move into the snake and then back up across to the back center. Oh, they lose their snake body. Just 1 player left for SVSU, and he's going to try and fill out to the Dorito corner and get chopped up by Smith here, pretty much in the 50 snake.
Well, Smith saved the day right there, Todd. Akron lost 2 bodies right away, and then they got Smith in the snake. Smith just put his head down, crawled all the way down here to the red zone, able to get those kills in the center and cross field to even up the body count. The rest of his boys clocked in as well. So, and that's that important point too. You don't want to let SVSU start running away with it here. So huge point for Akron.
Yeah, narrowing that gap now. It's just a 1-point game with 9:05 left on the clock. We watched Akron out here. They had a pretty good run at it last year. They remember always talked about Addison Winstead. He's back on the squad, big number 5 out there in the back center for Akron. I think they lost a 1-point game last year, pretty close. Here's the replay on the break. Coming out, Smith diving into the snake and getting in there alive.
Yeah, very good form right there. You can see they're on the dive in and checked off. And then no one is safe out there. The camera taking one as well. But that was a huge point for Smith and the rest of the boys for Akron. So
Saginaw State Lauren Adams coming on the field right now in the white goggles. Looks like we got Todd Winstead.
Flanders chronoing on as well for Akron.
Flanders, he was the other one from last year that was putting in work for Akron. Lots of exciting games last year. Really excited to be back here right now.
I hope we see the same this year. I love coming to the NCPA championship every year to see, you know, what school stepped up that year and trained hard to try to come here and take a national championship in collegiate paintball. And Akron's, you know, every year they come, they show us some signs and then just don't end up getting it done at the end of the day. So we'll see what they did in the offseason here, or during the entire offseason, and then they played up to the season here to get to the championship. So
Ben Carpenter, Jackson St. Clair, Michael Flanders, Thomas Hoster, Addison Winstead, Scott Michaud, Justin Politi, Benjamin Todd, Joshua Smith for the University of Akron. So it's like they're going to get one up the middle.
So Akron going heavy in the center. They hold 2 off the break and send 1 a little bit farther into the yellow zone. Still 2 behind him.
All 5 bodies are left alive for Akron. Saginaw Valley State, they have all 5 bodies alive as well, but they're going to be the first ones to drop one out of the mini race bunker on the snake side. Filmed from that snake can into the snake on the death. Bold move, but does he make it in? He does. And is crawling down the snake now in the yellow zone. Saginaw Valley State. Gonna pop up. Looks like Akron knows he's in there now. Feeling pressure from the Dorito side. Akron also matches up and gets in his mirror on the snake side.
Yeah, it's Thomas Hoster. He's in there right now, number 14.
There you see the spread from Akron. There's an Akron player. He's in the back center. Shooting towards the Dorito side. And Saginaw Valley going to lose a body.
They lose
out of that snake.
Yeah, Todd, that was a bad death out of the snake, and that's going to open things up here for Akron. And looks like Hoster moves up another notch. Now he's going to put that pressure on the D side and in the center and gets another kill. So things are starting to open up here for Akron. It looks like they're going to tie this one up here, Todd, in a real good position on the D side and on snake here. Now launching in the center to run down the last player left alive for Saginaw Valley State. So beautiful work these last 2 points from Akron. Controlled aggression, nothing crazy. They're shooting players out of their bunkers. And that's how you get yourself back in the match.
Yeah, Akron getting pumped up here after losing a couple close points early. Coming back and working, playing these tight games.
Uh-oh, referee has one of their guns.
Yeah.
Never want to see that happen. So referee's going to check out that gun. We'll check out the replay here. So there's a big move by Akron, able to get into the 50-yard line on the D side. And you could see the Saginaw Valley State player realizing that his days are numbered here. And here comes the bunker move down the center. Nicely executed.
Cut. Yeah, nice cut through the inside. And here's that fill into the snake.
Which was a good fill.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good fill, but he ends up getting shot out of that spot. And that's the thing, man. You get in that snake, you want to battle, you want to go to work, you want to try to get kills and engage with your opponents. However, if you're down bodies, you have to be very careful. Yes, you're in a good field position. Yes, tons of people are going to be shooting at you because you're in that position. However, you know, you got to be careful there. So
the timing of that move always can go 2 ways. You get shot making that move because your buddy in front of you just got shot, and then you get picked off just trying to fill right in. Or they shoot the guy in front of you, look the opposite way, you dive in, nobody sees it, and then you go get a bunch of kills.
And timing is that fickle thing that we always talk about and how hard it is. You can't really teach timing. It's something that has to be honed over years and years and tons of points of playing. And that was actually, like we said, a really good fill. He was able to make it in there, but then he died out of that spot. And the story of that particular point was that Saginaw Valley State just couldn't live in their bunkers.
Yeah.
Akron, better gunfighters.
Yeah, the way that Akron had lined up, they had really good pressure. Everybody had their guns up. They were communicating really well, putting tons of pressure on SVSU across the field, and just made smart bumps, you know, slowly come across into the snake, get up into the big yellow Dorito, you know, and just kept the guns rolling from the back center into those 2 cans. Those 2 cans in that back center, you know, when things start getting into the nitty-gritty here on Sunday's competition, you know, it's going to be just who's winning gun battles out of those stand-up cans over here, I'm telling you.
Yeah, the early looks at this field, Todd, I do have to agree with you. Looks like going to be a gunfight-heavy field. So the story of this tournament will be who can control the aggression here in the snake and win those battles. As always, I mean, that is just a maxim in paintball. No matter what, you have to have players alive in the snake and doing their job and attacking that side, particularly as long as this snake is. But also the way this is situated, it's going to be interesting to see if that center actually gets any play, Todd, and then how valuable that D side's going to be. But I think it's going to come down to snake side, controlling the snake side and then winning gunfights.
Yeah, up that middle is going to be your standard textbook up the middle and to the outside drill. Running up the middle, can you shoot people running wide up the middle? And can you shoot guys up the middle running out wide?
Now on the breakout here, looks like down a body and in the penalty box for the next 55 seconds. Saginaw Valley State on the left-hand side of your screen there.
Yep, and there it was, running up the middle, shooting out the snake player, coming to that first can. SVSU with the early advantage, but they lose a body and make a bump to the mini race on the snake side. So they have a player up the middle, and they do have a little spacing on the snake, mirrored up. Right now, SVSU a little bit wider on the Dorito side out in that corner, but he takes a bouncer in the arm from across the field. Looks like from the back center. Akron in the Dorito side can, shooting across the field.
Yeah, on your screen right now, you're looking at the spread for Akron. Now we're going to check out Saginaw Valley, back to Akron. So look at, you can see the field, look at the body language of the players from Akron. They know that they're trying not to, you can see very calm body language. Look at this though, big run through. Can Akron absorb the damage? It doesn't look like they can there in the center, and it looks like that might be another penalty though here on Saginaw Valley State, Todd.
Wow.
So inopportune moment here with the game tied up, already on a power play for Akron, and it looks like a penalty on Saginaw Valley State, which...
Yeah, that was a bold move right there. I mean, that penalty was really close there at the end. Just as Lauren Adams he came straight from his center tower. He went from center tower to center tower, and nobody picked him up from the middle and the Dorito side. Got caught by the snake eye just at the end. Ended up getting a penalty. But now Akron on the attack, coming up into the 50 Dorito and the 50 Snake. It's a 2-on-2, but SVSU losing 2 bodies pretty quick.
And Todd's Hoster again here in the snake side.
Yep.
That's another one of the things is every year, man, I love to see who are going to be the individuals on each team that step up and handle business here on the snake side. And it looks like it's the early scouting reports coming out of Akron is going to be Hoster so far here. And look at this little run that Akron's putting together. Initially going down 3-1, getting a little bit of a slow start here. First game of the day, cloudy morning at Central Florida Paintball.
Oh, yeah, he picked him up. Well, yeah, I mean, you see how close that was. Right when he turned to shoot him, he was right there on top of his guy in the back center. That was a good angle right there on that replay.
Yeah, so Akron...
As he dove in, right as he dove into the back of the yellow part of the snake, we saw Adams coming right through the middle.
Yeah, so with 1 minute 19 seconds on that Saginaw Valley State penalty, we're going to take a quick break. 5 minutes and 5 seconds left here. Stick with us. Welcome back here, National Collegiate Paintball Association Championships here at Central Florida Paintball in Lakeland. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez. Right now, Saginaw Valley State
playing on their heels a little bit here, going down by 1 against a strong Akron who's decided to get in this match. Initially, they went down 3-1, but strong play by them here with 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go. And looking really strong, Todd, in the sense that they're doing everything right now. They're not losing bodies off the break. They're making strong moves on the D side and also on the snake side, and most importantly, winning gunfights. It also has helped that Saginaw Valley has got a couple penalties.
Yeah, I mean, this last 3-point run that Akron's gone on here, they've just played smarter in the mid-game. They got all 5 bodies out a couple points ago. Last point, they lost 1 early, but, the 3 points ago, same thing. They lose a couple bodies early, but they play smart, they stay tight, and, they're just playing a better mid-game right now. Not being worried about losing bodies early or not having the field position, just playing slow, playing smart, making the bumps when it's appropriate, continuing to roll their guns and communicate, and then make the moves when they're there. And they're just chopping down SVSU players once they get into good positions.
Do you think it has a little bit to do, when you get up a couple points on a team, you're feeling pretty good, other team's not looking too hot right away, you kind of get a little lackadaisical, you're not making it as crisp the head checks, you get a little too settled in to the rhythm. And do you think there's a little bit of that, little more morning jitters, kind of when we're up a couple points,
maybe
everything's going great?
Maybe. I don't know that much about SVSU as a team, but I do know that Akron, with the experience that they've had here, I definitely feel like they've learned and understand the way that this game plays now. We got two long halves, plenty of time to go on runs, score points. Understanding the flow of the game is so important. And then when you have a team that's played at this level for a long time, then it's so you have so much more of an advantage over a team that's just getting used to the
you can tell they didn't get rattled at all.
No.
Even going down a few points right away and it wasn't looking good early on, they didn't get rattled. They stuck to their game plans and they really just started locking into those gunfights. And you can see right now, look at this. I mean, just going to town.
And Akron had to learn that the hard way too.
They did. Now Smith, we saw Hoster in the snake and Smith as well. So that looks like the 1-2 punch here on the different lines for the Zips. And Smith's in good field position here in the snake, and looking at the rest of his boys there in the center, trying to get shots on Saginaw Valley State. So that was Saginaw Valley State on your screen. Though, looks like Akron loses a player on that D side of the field. Big Winstead, he's past the 50-yard line here, looking for kills up in the center. He gets one. Look at Winstead going to work.
Yeah, it looks like just one body left alive there in the back center. Winstead just pounding him. Gonna get real small in there for Adams. Once Smith comes down and helps out Winstead down in the snake. Flanders also coming up on the snake side through the middle. And here comes Flanders, and he is gonna put an end to Adams and catch a couple from Winstead as well.
And Adams looked a little surprised there when Flanders came through. Like, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice work. We saw Winstead really step up in a lot of big points for Akron last year and proving the big men can play paintball. And then also smartly realizes, hey, there's still somebody in the box, and waited for that penalty to expire and then roasted him down. Smith grabbing that flag to go up yet another point here. So this is 4 consecutive points in a row here for the Akron Zips. As Smith hangs that flag up. Let's check out this replay.
And here comes that player getting chopped up, trying to make that bump down the Dorito side. But right then, Winstead was coming through the middle. And here's Flanders. He's going to find Adams there in the back center and bunker him out.
Yeah, so, hey, man, if you're going to die going forward. So, yes, it was a little bit, that was the only mistake we saw from the Zips in that bump when they got shot on the break of that replay. But other than that, flawless point there for the Zips.
Yeah, playing really well. Yeah, I like the way Winstead's shooting people on the break and then instantly attacking up to that center tower. He goes up there, shooting his gun towards the Dorito side to protect himself, and then gets up there and really controls it. They've sent a couple different players up there. Zip's doing a really good job right now of, getting production out of their whole roster. Like you said, they had Smith and Hoster in that snake, just being alive in there, getting kills, getting the job done. We've seen Todd and Winstead go up the middle, and then pretty good, smart, patient play over there on the Dorito side as well. So Akron now on a 4-0 run to take a 5-3 lead with almost 3.5 left to go in the half. And there's the coach of the Akron Zips right there. Came dressed to impress this year.
Getting some style points. though definitely catching some hot ones there on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's going to need to get that suit dry cleaned day by day. Nice tie, though.
So right now, again, these teams still on the same side. They will switch after the half. So Akron will be on your right, and Saginaw Valley State on your left. There's Saginaw Valley getting ready to roll. There's Big Winstead and the rest of the boys from Akron.
Todd back in there. Smith on your screen right there, getting ready to launch on the breakout. Here comes Smith.
Ooh, looks like Smith got a little bit of a hop there on that horn, and then able to get into Snake, immediately past Snake 1 into the red zone right away, and it looks like Body's now dropping. It's not looking good for Saginaw Valley. Todd is really having a hard time living off the break. Looks like Akron's really started to get those off the break shots down.
Yeah, they're smoking people on the break. Looks like Saginaw lost 2 bodies on the break. Smith came straight to the 50 Snake and just center punched that Dorito corner, about 3 balls right in the middle of his chest.
Wow, another beautiful point here from Akron. They are really finding their groove now. They decimated Saginaw Valley off the break and then just took the positions. And I mean, these past couple points haven't really been too close. Akron is really starting to get it together here. You know, after that initial, when they went down 3-1, I don't know what their coach said to them, or what they said to themselves, but since then, it's been looking really good. So, with the score sitting 6-3 in favor of the Zips with 3 minutes and 11 seconds to go here in the first half. We got about 1 minute 20 seconds before the start of this next point. We're going to take a quick break. Stick with us.
Introducing M-Dry, a new fabric technology integrated with the Contact F5 jersey. M-Dry is engineered mesh fabric designed to breathe more, increase airflow, and decrease moisture. M-Dry panels are designed for spatial distribution of heat and moisture by a hexagon pattern that's woven into the lightweight fabric. The ventilation is a design gradient so the hotter zones breathe more and regulate airflow, making the Contact F5 the most comfortable, lightweight, and breathable paintball jersey available that keeps the player cool while heating up on the field. Available at empirepaintball.com.
Welcome back to your National Collegiate Paintball Association Championships in Lakeland, Florida. Man, Akron Zips just handling business right now against Saginaw Valley State University, who have not looked good here, Todd, in pretty much the past 5 points, as Akron's gone on a 5-point run to make this score 6-3. Saginaw Valley doubling up that back center, getting a player into the Snake. Looking at the Zips right now on your screen, and there's the back 2 players. There's Hayes, and I believe that's Lauren Adams in there for, and it looks like, yeah, you can't spend too much time there when the field gets spread, but Akron losing a couple bodies as well, so even though they do drop a body, Saginaw up by 1 body right now and pushing on the Snake side.
Finally, SVSU able to get 5 bodies out alive as Danielle Nash attacks from the back center up the middle. She's going to come up and protect her player here in the Snake. See if he can get any sort of productivity, and no, comes and stands over the top of the 50 Snake, and Bill Fry gets blown to bits. If you get in a good position like 50 Snake, you probably want to be a little patient, look for some kills. Everybody knows you're in there. Not pop up straight over the top.
Well, again, that's one of those Snake 101 things. Just because you get into a good spot does not mean you need to start engaging right away, particularly if you have numerical superiority. You don't have to start shooting at people. Just the fact that you're getting shot at, that fact alone is going to help your team.
Yeah, SVSU losing another player out of the 50 Dorito. So SVSU fought to get up in those good positions, finally kept some bodies alive on the break, got into good spots, and just unable to get anything out of it. Right now, Akron doing a really good job of defending, staying alive and not getting shot out of their spots, evening up the bodies, and now here we have Winstead on the attack up the middle again. And here he goes to the right side of the A. I don't think Danielle Nash knows that he's in there because she's still looking snake side. I think she's starting to feel the pressure though, but Hoster, he's in the 50 snake.
Well, then she switches her gun over and ends up taking out Winstead on the move. So she listened to her coach. That was a smart job by Danielle Nash to actually listen to her coach, who was screaming from the sidelines, letting her know where Winstead was, but Winstead still was able to trade out with her.
Yep, and just one body left alive now for SBSU. He fills to the snake side corner. There's Hoster on your screen. All he's got to do is come out and take a peek down the wire. And there he is. Now he's putting the pressure on that spot, and it's going to be too small in that little corner bunker as Akron is able to work the 2-on-1 and eliminate all SBSU players.
So just when we thought, Todd, maybe Saginaw was going to be able to put up another point on the board here and keep this one close, nope, Akron still able to win the close ones. If you want to win the game, you have to win the close points. You see here on the replay, spreading out towards that snake side back bunker, but getting clipped out. And then looking at Saginaw getting blown to bits there.
Yeah, that was Bill Fry in the 50 snake. And here's that last exchange between Nash and Winstead Winstead shot up.
Maybe begging for that penalty. It looked like a clean bang-bang trade out right there, though. So nice work there by Akron. Has just looked so good for the past now 6 points in a row. 6 consecutive points that they've been able to put, you know, out a really good performance. And you know, Saginaw looked really good in the start at the opening of this match, but they have just not, I wouldn't say completely fallen apart, but they're just letting Akron dictate the pace of the game. They're losing too many gunfights. They got a couple penalties, which allowed, you know, the Zips to get back in this match, and they're just not letting go of this lead right now.
No, not at all. And like I said, they're just playing such a better mid-game right now. You know, on the break, no matter what happens, if they go down bodies, they're able to recover. You know, and that all happens because of communication. You know, you see where your bodies drop from. You know, you shift guns. You know, you tell each other what's going on, and then you just, you know, play smart and stay alive in your bunker. Don't give away stupid gun battles. And you know, they're just doing a good job of being patient, you know, making moves when they're available instead of trying to force it, being down bodies because you're rattled. You know, just that right there again. You know, SVSU had the 50 snake, the 50 Dorito. They had 2 bodies behind, and you know, it was a 4-on-3, and then next thing you know, Akron just slowly but surely picks body by body off out of the bunkers and then makes a clean, aggressive finish and wins another point.
Yeah, really methodical paintball by them right now. So let's see if they can keep this up here in the closing moments of the first half of the first game of this tournament so far. So on the breakout here, Akron now risking a body towards the D side. It looks like he gets picked off trying to get to D2, trying to get in that yellow zone. So just 4 players left alive for the Zips. Referee in there checking out another one. So another body drops, and here it looks like Saginaw Valley might have an opportunity, but no, that is going to do it. So closing moments of this first half, and aggressive moves made by both teams. Bodies dropped from both teams, but no one able to score a point here. So we will head into the second half of this matchup with the score sitting 7-2, leave that's 3. So big gap starting to develop here between these two teams. It's been all Akron here for most of the first half. See here the breakout, doubling up in that center, and then trying to get into D2 in that yellow section of the field is Lehman, but he ends up getting taken out. So we're going to have a quick 5-minute break here as these teams get reset. They're going to switch sides. We're going to throw 10 minutes up on that clock. Again, the score, Akron 7 and SVSU 3. They need to get something going here in this halftime. We're going to be right back. Stick with us.
Hey, are you our scorekeeper for today?